Another extremely hot day occurred today over the Phoenix, Arizona area as a stationary upper-level ridge remains anchored over the four-cornered area. This upper-level ridge will continue to be powerful for tomorrow at 598 decimeters, tells us the National Weather Service of Phoenix. This will be producing another day with high temperatures in the mid-100s. This is equivalent to record heat. It will either tie the records or break records, even for a place like Phoenix, Arizona. Previous record today, 114 degrees. It's not known exactly how hot it got there today. Tomorrow's record's 116 degrees. As of yesterday, the European computer model was forecasting a high of 116 degrees. If you plug in the conditions that were being forecasted by the European computer model into the National Weather Service wet bulb globe converter, you will see that the afternoon wet bulb globe temperatures in Phoenix will be between 89 and 90 degrees. Which means the wet bulb temperature would be a few degrees lower than that. Speaking of wet bulb globe temperatures, the National Weather Service in Chicago tells us that Monday afternoon, the conditions are such when you take into the partial sunshine, into consideration, the light winds, the humidity, and the temperature, they're telling us that the wet bulb globe temperature will be hot, rising into the mid-80s. Heat indices around 100 degrees. Based upon heat index, they may not reach heat advisory criteria. However, wet bulb globe temperature is actually a more accurate way to measure the danger of the heat when exercising, and the National Weather Service therefore goes out of its way to inform Chicagoans that the wet bulb globe temperature on Monday will be in the mid-80s, so hot and humid weather expected in Chicago on Monday as temperatures go up to 90 degrees and high humidity. Memphis, Tennessee might be a little bit deceived at the forecast when you hear that a little bit of a cold front is moving through or has moved through the area. This has pushed drier air, high temperatures only in the low 90s. Well, things are going to quickly warm up again, and they're actually calling this a roller coaster, something that we hear only in the fall or the spring. The Memphis, Tennessee National Weather Service is using that term for this week, but it's summer weather from the beginning all the way to the end, but roller coaster nonetheless. Tomorrow, we have two variables coming together to produce brutal heat across Memphis, Tennessee, but there is a variable that's missing, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Surface high pressure developing in the mid and upper Mississippi Valley starts pushing south. That is going to be responsible for sunshine, hot, drier air, but at the same time, we have a dome of heat, a ridge, an upper-level ridge over the four-cornered area that will be expanding east. That's going to up the temperatures in the upper part of the atmosphere, which will increase surface temperatures. The drier air will allow the sun to be more efficient at heating things up, which is going to produce a warming trend for Sunday and Monday as temperatures go well into the 90s. But on Tuesday, the dew points start to skyrocket again, regardless as to whether those winds are from the south or wherever they're from. The winds are expected to be from the north, and much of the moisture actually is being grabbed by this tropical depression on the East Coast, which is actually going to reduce thunderstorm chances. The Memphis, Tennessee National Weather Service points this out explicitly. But the surface winds coming from the north, that's a result of the center of the ridge being to our west, tells us the Little Rock, Arkansas National Weather Service. But regardless of the situation, by Tuesday, the humidity starts to skyrocket. Memphis, Tennessee National Weather Service attributes that to a frontal boundary developing in the upper Midwest. Dew points in the mid-70s, temperatures in the mid or even upper 90s, pushing heat indices above 105 degrees in a period of time which was expected to be drier than usual. It doesn't really end up playing out that way. Whether you have winds off the Gulf or not, by Tuesday, forecasts are dew points in the 70s. Wednesday's a big question mark for some locations. Tuesday's a big question mark for parts of the St. Louis area. Monday's the final day of heat for Chicago. Tuesday, portions of St. Louis will have a continuation of heat, but other areas may not. There's a front moving through, and it's not clear how quickly that front will move through. hot day, the hottest day of the week expected for Memphis, possibly the hottest day of the week for St. Louis as well. It may not. Wednesday, cooler conditions for St. Louis. The rest of the week, temperatures actually go below normal for the St. Louis area with drier conditions. Temperatures remain in the low 90s for Memphis. Drier conditions, cooler temperatures, highs upper 80s to low 90s for Memphis, Tennessee. The big story is going to be tropical storm, which will likely get a name if it hasn't gotten a name already. As it moves up the East Coast, I believe the name is supposed to be Debbie, but I'm not sure about that. That tropical storm is going to impact the weather in a certain way across the entire nation, least impacting the Phoenix, Arizona area, to my understanding, because the ridge remains, well, even in Phoenix, they are going to be seeing cooler temperatures as we go on this week. But a return of heat is expected for the very end of the week in many locations here in the U.S. You know, no matter how you look at it, we have lots of different ways to forecast the synoptic weather setup, whether winds are from the north, winds are from the south. But either way, we're in for solid summer weather for most cities, except Chicago, where temperatures might even drop into the upper 70s, especially for areas near the lake as we go into the week, and low 80s. We do have Baltimore, Maryland, which is continued hot conditions for the beginning part of the week, but temperatures dropping by the latter part of the week with highs only in the 80s. Summer weather continues this week for the U.S. Everyone stay safe. I wish everybody a wonderful week.